Hello, hello. Welcome to CRAVIN Iron Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Fiora. Today I'm here with Tomo Marjanovic. So Tomo, if you guys don't know him, um, you were an ex-police officer for 12 years. You're actually owner and founder of Aspire Rejuvenations, and I'll let you get into the details of that. You're a competitive bodybuilder and fitness model. You modeled for a couple companies, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So how you doing, Tomo?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, brother. So this podcast is to get your backstory and let people know the real you. I know that. I know you by your following and by just what you've done on social media, just to get your name out there. And I've actually talked to Dean Prone a little bit about you, just to get to know you a little bit. But for everybody that wants to get to know you and to get your name out there a little bit more, um, I want to get the personal side of you and how you grew up and how you became who you are today. Why you started your company and what motivates you to do all this. Because judging by everything that you've been through and everything that you've done with your life, it shows me that you're that hardworking motherfucker that everybody strives to be. So let's get started. Where you from? How'd you grow up?
So, I'm first generation American. My family is all from Croatia. I think back then it was Yugoslavia, but my family's all Croatian. I grew up in the state of Ohio, in Cleveland.
Mm.
That's where I lived up until about, it's got to be 9 years now. I've been in Florida. So, way that I grew up, I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic grade school. I went to Catholic high school until I got kicked out my sophomore year, I think, or junior year. Well, I wasn't a bad kid, but I didn't like to study. I didn't like school, things like that. So, athlete, a little bit of a troublemaker. Ended up going to college up in Ohio, graduating with a criminology degree.
Okay.
And I was already a police officer when I graduated college. So I went through academy, took a little break from college, and went into the law enforcement career straight away it was 21, 22 years old. So pretty young.
Yeah, that's a really good career to get into. I mean, especially right now with everything that's going on. Whew.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of the guys that I worked with for years, and they all tell me, they're like, man, you are one lucky guy. Like you got out of that career as, perfectly as possible. Because, I've only been out, let me see, end of September, it will be exactly 2 years I've been out of law enforcement.
Jeez.
So I got out at a really good time, especially with all the climate right now, with all of the anti-police and defund the police and all that.
Well, I mean, you've already experienced the Ferguson incident that happened. You already experienced all of this. This is just the second going of it, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I've seen it kind of, and everybody always told me that it was a pendulum. It always swings back and forth. Cops are hated for a little bit amount of time, then we're heroes again, then we're hated again.
well, what's going to happen? I mean, and I know that what happened was unjustified. I mean, justice needs to happen, but what's going to happen is something major is going to happen, and everybody's going to say, "Well, we need our officers, we need our police officers," and that's when you're going to become heroes again. I mean, it happens. It's like a revolving door,
Yeah, absolutely. It happens all the time, and one of the things that was really big, and I don't want to say big because it sounds almost negative, but 9/11 brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
9/11 didn't matter what color you were, just mattered that you were American. It didn't matter what uniform you wore. Everybody was kind of on the same page for a very small amount of time.
Yeah.
And then it all went, to hell again.
Well, see, all the focus turned against the other guys. You know what I mean? The guys that actually did that, and that's what it was, and that's when we bonded together. I mean, I work corrections. I'm a lieutenant at a prison up here, state prison, and one thing that I always tell my officers, it's like, because it's when you work at a big facility,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes kind of like high school mentality where you have people talking shit against other people and
Of course.
or officers. It is what it is. And you always try to, as the lieutenant or as someone that's a supervisor in that, you always try to find a way to boost the morale, and keep that morale boosted, especially in times like this where we have the coronavirus happening, and then you have the Black Lives Matter movement and all that stuff. And the inmates, they kind of go with that, because everything that the inmates go based off of is the news. And
Sure.
like when the coronavirus happened, they thought it was, apocalypse out here because all the toilet paper was getting bought, and they were just going based off the news, even though, a lot of it was, it was different than the news showed it. A lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of media hype. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. But anyway, so what I tell the officers is like every time there's like a major incident, that's what brings everybody together. But then when that incident goes away, then that's when people get separated. And like an incident like this, that we have the coronavirus going on, and now we have the Black Lives Matter movement, and everything that's going on right now with law enforcement and just race, the racial division that's going on. Like this is something that should be bringing everybody together. Big incident, just like 9/11, like you said. It's not a positive thing, but it's something that is great about America is everybody forgets that, America was founded on all races coming together, there's not race here. There's just American, and just America's so divided right now. And I think that's our downfall, but something's going to happen. And I think a lot of people are waiting for that, and it's going to bring us all together again. And that's what makes America great.
Yeah, I see, I see all the news and I see all the division that the news talks about and everything like that. What I don't see is I don't see all of that in reality, in real life, in front of me at least. I'm sure it is happening. I'm sure there's division and all this, hateful attitudes and stuff like that around the country. I'm between Tampa and Orlando, and I'm all over Florida. I have patients for the clinic all over the country. And doesn't matter what color somebody is, where they came from, sexual orientation, anything like that. Everybody that I see in person or see on video or have come to the office, it's nothing but love.
Yep.
And I was talking to a friend of mine, a bodybuilder who's a black guy. And I was talking to him and I was kind of joking. I'm like, we're supposed to hate each other right now. He's like, yeah, that's what CNN tells us, and he's just kind of joking around. But realistically, there's not as much division and hate as the news is saying there is.
Yeah.
I see a lot of brotherhood. I mean, especially when it comes to fitness, bodybuilding, things like that. I mean, you'll never see more camaraderie between countries or races or people that should effectively hate each other. You'll never see more unity right there than in bodybuilding.
It's true. That's true. So anyways, all that aside, I know there's a lot of shit. 2020's been sucking lately for everybody, but
yes.
But anyway, so I want to get into your backstory. So you're in Orlando, Florida now, right? And how were you raised? You said you were first generation raised, and
yeah, so first generation American. Family. They brought us up speaking English, but English was not necessarily our first language. We spoke Croatian first. In the house we were speaking Croatian. It's funny, I have a story when I was actually in Croatia over there when I was 13, I think. And my brother and I went over there for 3 months. And when we came back to the United States, we went for a summer. We came back to the United States, my mom's looking at us all crazy, and we didn't realize that we were speaking Croatian, thinking we were speaking English. We literally had no clue. We had no idea that we were speaking to each other and to everybody else in Croatian. And our mom had to kind of like snap us back too, because we had to go to school. So if we weren't really thinking about it, it would have been a little funny at school for a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, why doesn't anybody understand us? What's going on here?
Yeah. My brother and I, we didn't get it. It didn't compute that we were speaking a different language, because the thought pattern's the same.
Yeah.
Especially when you were born or raised speaking a different language in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were raised that way. Went to Catholic schools and stuff like that. You know, Ohio is it's a different kind of place. I mean, if you've ever been to Cleveland, it's Cleveland is kind of like the butt of a lot of jokes, but they kind of deserve it. Cleveland kind of sucked for a long time. It's built up a little bit better now. You know, the RNC went there, I think it was 2 cycles ago or something like that, or 1 presidential cycle ago. And it built the city up, put a lot of money into it. Now there's conventions and nice restaurants and stuff. But Cleveland was pretty ghetto. It was pretty dangerous, you know. It was like top 5, top 10 murder rate in the country for a lot of years.
Yeah, that was like in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. When we were growing up, I mean, it was a nasty place. And, you know, I went to college in downtown Cleveland. So I remember my car getting stolen and taken to a chop shop, and it was found on blocks.
Oh, man. The 90s.
Yeah.
I love the 90s. Things changed
Yeah.
a little bit now with Cleveland. At least that's what it looks like from here. But
yeah, it's a much better environment now. And, you know, I was a cop up there for about 5 years, worked on the east side of Cleveland. And then I moved down here to Florida, started with the Clearwater Police Department. And Clearwater PD did about 7 years there. And then, like I said, 2 years ago, I finally made the jump, which I was yearning to do for years. I was kind of done with law enforcement after about year 7 or 8. I just saw enough, you know. I was the lucky guy that got to do all the crazy stuff and, you know, be around the shootings and getting all the fights and all that stuff. I saw all of that very early on in my career. So I was kind of just done with it after the first.
Yeah, once you get that experience, it's like, I've experienced it all already, and you know, I'm already enough. So
yeah. Once you've seen the horrible parts of the world, it's kind of like, okay, I want to go do something else and maybe make some money, because you know cops aren't making money.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, I left law enforcement. I didn't start the companies right away. I went into a different clinic and, you know, worked my way up into that one until I ended up leaving for a lot of personal and legal reasons. I'll just leave that there. A lot of these clinics aren't doing the right thing, if you get my drift.
I hear you. Yeah. I kind of get the hint.
Yeah. Coming from an ex-law enforcement background, it just didn't sit well with me. You know, there's a lot of shady stuff in this industry, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to build this clinic, is because I wanted there to be something that is not only reputable, but that, you know, works with integrity with its patients, you know, because, I mean, we have law enforcement officers, corrections officers, firefighters, FBI agents, politicians, professional athletes. We have all of that come to this clinic. So we can't be doing illegal things and, you know, cutting corners and doing thing half-ass. It just doesn't work when you're dealing with that type of environment.
Well, and I mean, you know, just like you said, integrity. If you base your business off of integrity alone, that's going to push people towards you already. You know what I mean? Because a lot of businesses in this corporation doesn't do that. You know, in this field.
Yeah.
And
this,
you know.
Yeah, this field it's all about quick money, it seems, anymore. Mm-hmm. I see clinics popping up left and right, and, you know, they're cutting corners and doing cookie cutter programs and all this stuff. I mean, we deal with hormones. We deal with, you know, controlled substances. So these are drugs that if you're not prescribing them legally, you're committing a multitude of felonies.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, you're changing people's lives. That's kind of stuff can change people's personality, home life, body, mm-hmm. everything that they do in their life. They're trusting you guys with that. And a lot of companies, they're throwing garbage out there just for a quick dollar. And, you know, it's hard to find a really quality ingredients, like you said, integrity-based company that's good, that is based off doing the right thing and giving people the right, you know, nutrition.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, with our stuff, I mean, we have a supplement line. All of it is medical grade that's only available at doctor's offices. So it's not like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with GNC and Vitamin Shop and buying your supplements on Amazon, but we all know that half the stuff is crap, you know? there's some really, really good companies out there, and several of my friends that are, you know, in the bodybuilding and athletic community, they have some very good brands. But when you see most of the ones out there, it's just junk.
Yeah.
So, you know, I want to bring, you know, not just integrity from a personal standpoint or how we do business, but also from everything that we give, because any prescription, I 100% have my name behind it. Any supplement we sell, I 100% have my name behind it. And I've probably tried it or am currently taking it, you know? So I've tried half the things, if not more, that we have at this clinic.
Well, I mean, if you don't trust your own product, then you can't, you know, it's not right for you to sell it. And
exactly. And you gotta look the part too, you know? I mean, that's the other thing. People are like, oh, you know, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm like, I understand. I'm like, but I'll tell you right now, you're not going to get 20-inch arms like me just by taking something from my clinic.
You still got to put the work in. I mean,
yeah, it's taken me 20 years to get here. I promise you're not going to get it in a month of taking, you know, whatever therapy I'm offering you.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to help the recovery rate. And I mean, really it's a good way to go if you want to do things right. And I know a lot of people that take supplements and try gear or steroids or whatever at a younger age, and then when they get into their 40s, their body's shot, and it's because they didn't do anything the right way, like build their body the right way. If you were into bodybuilding, or even like powerlifting, or just if you're just a average Joe just trying to get bigger and, you know, more fit, you know, if you don't do it right, your body's gonna catch up with you when you're a little down the road.
And yeah, we see people at very young ages that have played around with these hormones and stuff like that when they were young. And I mean, I got guys come in here in their mid and late 20s, and they basically have all the symptoms of low testosterone, but it's because they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky enough when I started bodybuilding when I was a teenager. The person that coached me and taught me everything about this, he made me get my blood tested, and we're talking 15 years ago. I'm dating myself a little bit, but, you know, 15, 16 years ago, I told him, you know, and I was straight up. I'm like, I want to be a professional bodybuilder. That's what I wanted to do. You know, I was 19. Who doesn't want to be a professional bodybuilder at 19?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm like, I want to be a pro. So what does a pro do? He takes steroids. So I told this coach at 19, I'm like, I want to take steroids. I want to be a pro. He's like, all right, well, you're not going to touch anything unless we know you need something, because we don't mess with a good thing. I'm like, all right, deal.
That's a good coach.
Yeah. So he told me to get my blood tested, and I got 2 blood tests within about a year or two. Both of them were 1,500 and 1,300 testosterone level. Now, by any normal doctor standards, they're going to assume that I'm taking testosterone already.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
super high.
Yeah.
So it's a super high level of testosterone, but that was my normal level naturally in my late teens, early 20s. So not knowing that, some of these kids may have great testosterone levels, great hormones, great genetics, and they're just completely destroying their system at a young age when they can build that real natural, you know, keep on you type of muscle. And then, you know, when you get into your 30s or 40s or whenever you start to feel symptomatic, that's when you start supplementing.
Yeah.
Which with me, it was like 31. So when I was like 31, I started noticing my testosterone was declining. And, you know, again, if I went to a normal doctor, my testosterone at around a 700, I think it was 698, they would have said you're in normal range. But I had the brain fog. I was gaining a little bit of belly fat. I was not, you know, retaining muscle like I should, tired all the time, no sex drive. I'm 31, not touching or playing with steroids, but my natural decline in testosterone happened right around then. You know, so that's where clinics like this come in. It's not about building muscle per se. You know, is that an added benefit to doing some of these hormone replacement programs? Absolutely. You know, who doesn't want to have more muscle on their body? It's a healthy thing to have. But, you know, it's more about quality of life for us and for me in general. Like, you know, anybody that comes in here, I want them to feel good, whether they're 30, 50, or 80. And we do have patients that old. And they come in here and they got a pep to their step. They feel great. They still have a sex drive. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to look at it, because I mean, like we said before, is just a lot of people are out for money, and coaches like that is who you actually want to lean towards. Someone that's actually going to be real with you, because I mean, there's a lot of coaches out there that's, oh, okay, you want to take some steroids? Well, here you go. Here's a shit ton.
Yeah.
Let's get you
Yeah,
big.
yeah. Here, email this guy.
Yeah, I know a guy who'll give me a cut
Exactly.
too. Yeah, but I mean, it's that's just the realism in it. It's just guys like you or companies like you, or guys that were raised like you, like that coach saying that obviously had some impact on you. And I mean, look what you're doing now. You remembered that till then to now, and now you base your company off, hey, you know what? I'm just going to make sure that you're where you need to be in order to increase, instead of, okay, this is what you want. Well, I'm going to get you what you want,
Yeah, exactly. People are too quick to try to get, they want to get results so quick. They want to get, everything's fast tracked, especially now with social media and all this garbage. Everybody wants the quick fix. Everybody wants the magic pill. Everybody wants the magic injection that turns them into Mr. Olympia. It doesn't work like that,
No.
People need to put in the work. They need to put in the time. They need to do things the right way. And the right way is letting your body naturally build as much as you can when we're talking bodybuilding standpoint. But, health is important. You messing with your hormones and your endocrine system when you're in your teens or early 20s, I mean, what do you think it's going to do to you when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or older? Are you going to make it that long? That's what people really need to start realizing.
Yeah, no, that's I agree 100%. So now when it comes to your business, since we're talking about your business, I'm going to pull up your actual website, and we'll go through it, and I'll let you explain to everybody that actually listening, that actually I'm hoping that people actually, this will help your business, people find you and find out what you actually do, and what if they need something, they can turn towards you. So this is your website. You're in Orlando, Florida, right?
Correct.
You got your website here.
Yeah. So this is, it says online doctor visits and prescriptions right there. That's referring to our telemedicine service, especially with the COVID stuff, all the coronavirus going on. We do have the option through our platform to actually do video telemedicine calls. So instead of you having to come and step foot in our office, which is usually the proper protocol, we actually want to see you in person before we're prescribing you medications. This way we can actually do a video consult. It's just kind of like this Zoom call. And the practitioner can see you. He can ask you all the directed medical questions. He has your medical documents and everything that you sent us right in front of him. So he can really get a picture of what's going on, and you guys can actually talk face to face, for him to be able to prescribe you the proper treatments. Of course, lab work and everything like that is part of it.
All right. So somebody like me that lives in Arizona, this would be probably good for me, just to, I mean, because it's kind of long distance. I can't actually go there. I mean, I can, but this will get me at least in the door and it pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, so we can ship all of your medications to your door. The pharmacies that we are contracted with, they're the ones that'll ship the medications out. And you do all of your visits over video chats, and the practitioner basically deals with you in that way. And of course, if you want to come to our office, you can. We have people flying from Colorado, from California. I think the furthest flight that we had was up in Oregon, and they had a few layovers too, so I actually felt bad for them. But they were, they felt compelled to come and see us and meet us in person, which of course, if you can afford that and, you can travel over here to Orlando, or you want to plan it around your family's Disney World trip, by all means, we'll work with you. We've even come in on Saturdays for people that were coming from across the country just so they could have their visits and get their prescriptions all written and everything like that.
Oh, okay. And now, so if someone's, say someone can't go there, I'm assuming they'll do the blood work over here, and you'll get the results, and you'll go based off of everything that we do here, right?
Yeah. So you being in Arizona, there's LabCorp locations all over Arizona.
Hmm.
And what we do is we have a partnership with the lab company, and LabCorp is the provider for it. So you fill out the paperwork, you send me everything, and let's say you're going to do your self-pay labs. So your labs cost $150. You pay us $150. We send you the lab requisition via email, and then you schedule your appointment or walk into any LabCorp near you. And once the results come in, the results automatically come back to our office. We send you a copy, and then you do your video call with the practitioner. We try to keep it as easy as possible for all the patients. So there's really not much legwork that patients have to do. We want it to be as simple as possible, because when it comes down to it, nobody likes going to the doctor. Nobody likes dealing with doctors' offices. We try to be as punctual and easy as possible for everybody.
Yeah, just the way you're explaining it just sounds super convenient, for someone like me that has a lot of that works a lot of hours or whatever, and just can't like up and go. Just sounds convenient.
Yeah, you can get everything done on your time basically, and you can do if you work during the day and you have a quick lunch break, you can do your consultation on your lunch break. If you're a few hours behind, we're open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So most of the time we can service pretty much anybody across the country with any relative hour constraints they have.
Yeah, and here it says you have hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy. That's what we were talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, so hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy is just one of the therapies included in hormone replacement therapy. We do female hormone replacement therapy for pre, peri, and postmenopausal women. We do thyroid, optimization, and for people with thyroid issues. So any level of hormone replacement therapy that you can think of, growth hormone with peptides, IGF-1 deficiencies, you name it, we can do it.
Yeah, if anybody's actually looking for something like this, I think this is it's hard to find, like I said before, it's hard to find a company that actually bases everything off of quality ingredients and isn't going to screw you out of the ingredients that you actually need just for a quick buck. So,
correct. Everything's coming from FDA approved pharmacies. Everything is extremely quality checked. And most of the pharmacies that we're contracted with, I've personally flown to or driven to and visited personally. I've walked through these pharmacies. So, these aren't little mom and pop pharmacies that are in small office buildings. These are huge operations. They're providing medications to hospitals, to massive clinics. And, I made sure that everything was 100% on the level with all of them.
And for your older folks out there, you got some sexual therapy here for men and women.
Yeah. So one of the biggest sexual therapy things, and, it's not just for older people. You'd be surprised, a lot of people, especially with the low testosterone, that's one of the biggest issues that people have is the low libido, low sex drive, everything like that. So testosterone replacement therapy for men and for women. People don't realize how important testosterone is for women. Of course, it's not to the doses that a man's going to see, but if a woman has no testosterone, they are not going to want to go in the bedroom. I will tell you right now. And once we optimize them, I have men that have sent their wives or girlfriends here, and the woman has gotten on testosterone therapy, and they've gotten their levels back to optimal, and the man's calling me saying, "What did you do? I need to be able to keep up. I can't keep up with my wife." So it's a good problem. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, no kidding. You get used to that once a week or once every other week, and then they go see you. It's like, man, it's like 3 times a week.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard of couples going from, you know, once a week, twice a week, or, you know, on holidays and birthdays to basically chasing each other around the house every day. It can get exhausting. So I hope you guys are ready for it.
Oh God. All right. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions about Aspire Rejuvenation, go ahead and hit him up. You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram, right?
Yes. So Facebook, it's at Aspire Rejuvenation. Instagram, it's at Aspire Rejuvenation. You guys can find me at Instagram at Tomo_Marjanovic. And you can find me on Facebook, Tomo Marjanovic as well. And, you know, you guys can check out the website, aspirerejuvenation.com. Our supplement site is actually aspiresups.com, which if you click on the website on the nutraceuticals on your right-hand side, it'll actually link you to our supplement site.
Oh,
and yeah, so that's our supplement site. Everything there made in an FDA approved facility. So everything is absolutely medical grade. And you know, you can't find better ingredients. You can't find more quality ingredients than we're offering here.
Yeah, and you said this is all pharmacy grade, right?
Yeah, everything that you're looking at here in the supplement line. So none of these are prescriptions, but all of these are pharmaceutical grade. So the FDA actually monitors this facility.
Okay.
So the company that's making all of these supplements for us, they're actually made in an FDA monitored facility. All of it is quality checked. All of it is made in the USA. So there's no, you know, nothing wrong with China, but there's no cheap Chinese crap in there. We know how that goes.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Yeah. So yeah, either one of those, and you're going to see a bunch of. It's not up yet under the gear and accessories. We're going to have a bunch of new clothing items out there. It's still going to be built, so all that stuff being shipped to me, I think next week.
Oh, okay.
You'll see shaker bottles, t-shirts, tank tops, all of the above on there.
Yeah, and you said you've been doing this for what, 2 years now?
So I've been studying hormones since I was probably 18 or 19. So I can't even count how many books on hormones, hormone replacement therapy, everything to do with testosterone in men and women, growth hormone levels. I mean, I was studying all this stuff myself for years, you know, not even knowing that I would eventually get into this field of work. Once I got out of law enforcement, I started working with that company. I was training with a few practitioners and with that owner of that company. Again, I left that company because I discovered some unsavory things and I didn't want to be a part of it. So this is when I started my own. And I then started to educate myself formally in the field. So I put myself through that was a master class in hormone replacement therapy. I went to Dubai, and that was in November of last year. And I went to Dubai to this master class. I was the only one who was not a doctor or a nurse practitioner in the course, and only one of 3 from America. So extremely educational.
Yeah.
I got to see Dr. Terry Hertog. He's like the #1 anti-aging and hormone specialist from Europe, and you know, one of the most world-renowned ones. So I went there, I saw him, got a lot of education out of it. And then I went and continued the education with WorldLink Medical and Dr. Neil Rouzier, who, for all you bodybuilding fans, he was the one they called Doc back in the 70s at Gold's Gym when Arnold and Franco and all those guys were working out. He actually was there with them at that Gold's Gym working out with them. So the guy's got a crazy life story, but again, world-renowned hormone expert, world-renowned in testosterone replacement therapy. So I have part 3 and part 4 coming up with those WorldLink medical courses, and that will make me the first non-medical professional with that certification. So that'll be really cool. That'll be a really nice feather in my cap. I like that.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So, beside the Inspire Rejuvenation, you've been in competitive bodybuilding, right? How many shows have you done? Did you, and
I have,
you're saying you wanted to go IFBB Pro. I know that you're like probably really busy with this now, but, and it takes a lot
so
of
my,
time to like get that goal.
yeah, so my aspirations for the IFBB, they haven't really dwindled, but they've just been kind of put aside. There's a possibility that I'm going to start competing again as early as the spring of next year. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with AJ Sims.
Mm.
So AJ Sims, he's a pretty well-known coach. He has a lot of extremely good athletes, a lot of extremely good pro athletes, and he and I are going to start working together and doing some dieting together. So we'll see what he thinks. You know, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'3". So I'm 6'3", 230 pounds, not on stage. So on stage, I'm usually around 220. So I'm much smaller for my class. As funny as that sounds, I'm small for my class when it comes to the weight cap. I can weigh, I think, as heavy as 239 or 241 on stage with no body fat.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of growing to do. And at 35, you know, I'm not a young kid anymore. So I got to be careful. I'm not trying to hurt any joints. I'm not trying to do anything to take away from my business aspirations too, because that's a huge commitment as well.
Yeah, well, they say that when you hit your mid 30s and over, that's when your body is fully developed and your muscles are fully developed. So you actually get more results or better results, and you actually do things if you do things properly. And besides like the injuries that you can possibly get because you're older and your body's not as limber as when you were 21 doing stupid shit, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've noticed over the last couple of years that it's much easier to gain muscle. Not necessarily easier to lose fat, but it's if you diet correctly, if you know what you're doing, you can really manipulate your body to do pretty much almost anything. And maybe that is part of the muscle maturity thing that everybody talks about. But we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into that again anytime soon. The goal right now is to grow all the businesses. I do have aspirations to put more clinics in more cities. So, my 2-year goal, I want to put at least 10 more clinics in 10 more cities. So we're going to be spreading out and making sure that we can provide these services to everybody that needs them, because we have a lot of people that actually come into the office here in Orlando. So I want to be able to offer all those services to everybody in, huge metropolitan areas in Atlanta, out in California, Las Vegas, back in my hometown in Cleveland. And a doctor named Joe Clark and I just opened up one in Pittsburgh. So we're already on our way.
yeah. Well, I mean, just you're still early on. So
Yeah.
judging by what you've or how much you've improved from when you first started till now, I mean you're going in the right direction. You're going to do big things. I mean, obviously you have your goals set up and you've already reached a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all the business goals. I know for a fact that I'll reach them. Some of the personal goals, which I consider the IFBB thing a personal goal. If I reach it, that's going to be really cool. I think I just have to be in the right mindset for it, and I have to have the time to do it. If I'm working, if I'm in the office from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. every day, it's a little difficult to do the bodybuilding thing.
Yeah, no, it's takes full focus when you, especially if you want to be a pro athlete about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's one thing
people think,
competing, but if you actually want to like succeed, it takes a lot of time.
yeah, people. I mean, I hear kids say it all the time, and I say kids like early 20s and teenagers and stuff like that. I hear these people saying like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to do a bodybuilding show and I want to be IFBB pro in like a year or two. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, I don't even know how that came out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you need to look 10 years down the road. Let's start off with winning your first competition.
Yeah. And find your location, try to possibly make a local
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
win
They
that
just,
first.
like I said, everybody wants the quick thing. Everybody wants to, you know, go straight to the top without the work. They want that magic pill. They want that magic competition.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
learn quick. They learn quick.
Oh yeah. And plus, I mean, I don't even think they could win enough competitions to be pro in a year. I mean, you have to really get out there and get your points, get your wins up.
Yeah, I mean, you have to win a, you have to win a qualifier show. You have to win your pro qualifier. So that's two shows right there. Which, if you think after a couple of years at 20 years old that you're ready for that kind of stage, you don't know what's coming.
Well, and you have prep mode and then you have compete mode, that your body needs to be in. And you can't just keep your body in its prime the whole time. You're going to do a competition, you're going to win it. And then guess what? The next one you're doing is to get your pro card or whatever. Guess what? Those guys are 10 times better than you already. So now you need to prep for at least a year, maybe, I mean, probably longer than that, a couple years, just to get to that level so you can actually get your pro card.
Yeah, winning a local show or winning a qualifier or something like that. Once you get to the national stage, these guys some of them have been trying to get their pro card for 10 years.
Yeah.
That means they have 10 years on you doing these pro qualifier shows.
Yeah, and they have 10 years on you finding what their weaknesses were and improving those weaknesses, and when you're first on, I mean, you don't even know your weaknesses yet.
Exactly. Yeah, well, it goes back to everything, these days. Everybody wants that quick thing. Everybody wants that quick accomplishment, or a quick buck when it comes to business instead of doing it the right way. And, you're not going to get rich overnight doing anything unless you're doing something probably wrong or illegal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things. Also, I mean, I always tell a lot of people that talk to me about it. You kind of get what you pay for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to really dig in deep when it comes to like your body, even if you're working out or like, I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's just like, it goes back with food. You can't buy processed meats all day and expect really good results from it. You have to get quality shit. And if you want quality results, just like supplements, that's kind of why I go towards Zaxxon Sled supplements. Is just,
Yep.
but like, companies like you that actually want to do the right thing, you have to dig in deep and actually find out who those guys are and or who those companies are and lean towards it. Whether it's more expensive or not, you kind of get what you pay for with that. With high quality supplements or high quality nutrition, you're going to pay what you need to pay.
Yeah, quality in, quality out. That's just what's going to happen. When it comes to anything, quality work gives a quality product. So everything that you're doing, as long as it's quality, as long as you're doing it the right way, you'll get the results you need.
Yeah. And they need to remember it's consistency. Consistency is everything. And guess what? Consistency, you can't have consistency overnight. So
absolutely,
that's what everybody fucking wants right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well said.
But anyway, so back to bodybuilding. You did have you done any shows yet, or is that like one of the future goals?
No. So the last show that I did, I won my class. That was, let me think, December of 2018. So that was my last show that I did. It was the IFBB Caribbean Grand Prix. Won my class, but did not get a pro card or anything like that. So, I wasn't really expecting it. It would have been cool, but the guy that won kicked my ass and everybody else's ass on stage. He looked amazing. He deserved every minute of it. Every guy that beats me, for the most part, any show that I've done, they deserved it.
Yeah.
So that was the last show that I did. And I was planning on competing more in 2019. It just didn't pan out, just, with business stuff and, with starting that new career after law enforcement. It just wasn't the time for it.
Yeah. And that's a big change too. Cause I mean, law enforcement, I mean, especially being in 12 years, that's a huge jump.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
obviously you had a plan, cause you're not just going to stop something like that, without a plan and without like goals already met, goals already set in place. So
Yeah. So, I mean, I was talking about it for years, but I just didn't know how to get out of it or what I was really going to do. I had ideas for business and stuff like that. And then the opportunity came up that summer because I left in late September, early October of 2018. And I was talking about it all summer. And I was talking about it with the guys I worked with my sergeant. Hey, what do you think of this? You know, kind of mapping everything out. And then eventually it was just the right time to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well, you got out. I mean, you got out, and then all this shit happened. So,
Yeah, it was a positive career move.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'll pull up your physique real quick. I had you send me a photo of your physique. Let's see. So, when it comes to fitness, being a fitness model, who'd you model for, and how long?
So I did it through BMG Models. BMG, they're up in New York City. So they had me shoot with, oh man, I don't know if I remember all of the names of the photographers. Mitchell Gray was one of them. He's a very famous fitness photographer. We shot for a couple magazines that were out in Europe. So I think it was Muscle and Fitness Germany, and then it was another German fitness magazine. I don't remember the name of it. So we did some of that. Then I did some clothing photo shoots. I've done a few commercials that have appeared internationally. So obviously being 100% Croatian, there's a good picture. The uniform flex. That was a little bit after bodybuilding show as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say your physique looks like it's like prepped. I mean,
Yeah, I think that might have been either the week after or the week before a competition. That might have been my first competition in classic physique back in 2017, maybe. But yeah, that was a cool little photo that somebody did for me, and they cut it out, put it on that background, and that cycled through social media a decent amount too. That was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I was looking at it, I was like, damn, he's already ready. And then you got there, you're pretty good. You're pretty big there, but it looks like you had to cut a little bit to be ready for competition on that one, huh?
Yeah, so that was probably a month or two out, maybe, I don't know, something like that. That one, actually at that time, you'll notice I'm not wearing shorter shorts or flexing my legs or anything like that. I actually had a pretty severe quad injury on that right quad. So that was pretty, I couldn't work out legs for probably 5 or 6 weeks.
2 months out too.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. So I ended up dropping out of that competition, obviously. I did go to that competition pretty much in that shape. And, you know, NPC News Online and NPC Wear and everything like that, they had me up on stage and had me modeling their clothes and all that good stuff, which they usually do down at the Florida Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, I was kind of leaning towards the bodybuilding, but I mean, I'm only 31, so I feel like I have time to choose what I want to do. But one thing with me is I've always liked lifting a shit ton of weight. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I mean, I've done bodybuilding workouts or routines where I'm just high intensity, and I changed my physique where I started getting towards that where I can, I mean, not compete level, but I could start seeing me being able to do that. And then just recently I tried it. I was like, you know, I miss living. I miss just maxing out at least fucking every other week and feeling all that weight above me, just being able to push it off me and shit. And I was like, I'm going to get back into that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, powerlifting is a really rewarding instant experience. Bodybuilding really is not. You know, it really isn't. I mean, back when I was younger, I was doing like the 5x5 workouts, lifting crazy heavy weight. And I mean, my favorite was probably incline pressing. I think it was 365 for 5 or 6 reps. I mean, I was beefy. I was heavier than I am now. But I mean, benching that kind of weight in the gym, seeing people look, I mean, it felt good.
Yeah, I actually I just recently, so I've just started inclining like a lot more because I mean, when you're trying to do that and you just think of actually competing in that, you think of just the normal. You got flat bench, squat,
Mhm.
lift, pretty much, right? And then yeah, I was like, I'm gonna work towards incline. So I actually just recently maxed out at 315, and I did it twice, and I was like, holy shit, that felt fucking good. Because I mean, yeah, everybody's like, holy shit, you just did it on incline, because inclines are like a lot of people's weak points. You
Oh
know,
yeah, incline is hard. When I did 365, I was ecstatic. You
yeah.
know, I got long ass arms, so any benching for me, I'm not very strong at.
Well,
I've
see that
never, I'll
that's
never
my
be strong
benefit.
at
Is I'm
benching.
short. I'm short and stubby, so I don't have that much of a reach. It's a little
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
for me.
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love. I mean, hey, Dorian Yates, you know, one of the best Olympians of all time, lifted heavy weight, and his body was absolutely magnificent. So, you know, you can definitely do both.
Yeah, yeah. I just it's just kind of prepping for which one you're doing right then and there. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. Like right now,
Exactly.
I just need to work on strength. But what sucks is in Arizona, the gyms are so wish-washy right now, with being open. So like the gym that I go to here, they actually opened up last Monday, and after being closed for like 2 months. And I have a garage gym, but the most weight I have in the garage is 300 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's just bought weight that I had, you know, from like Dick's Sporting Goods and shit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I have that, and it's, I mean, obviously it's not the same, and you know, from when you go to the gym and you got that mentality and that motivation from everybody else, the feeding off of. Anyway, so it opened up Monday, and then I went like 3 days, took a day break, and I was like, oh, I'm fucking pumped. I'm gonna go Friday and Saturday, and I get there Friday night. It was like probably midnight because I worked late. Got there like midnight. I see a big fucking red sign on the door saying closed. I'm like, what the fuck? You've been open for 4 days. You fucking kidding me?
Uh, yeah, you gotta love this virus.
Yeah. That's, you know, you'd think that that's like one of the places that would be. It just sucks because they put that in the same bracket as bars. You know what I mean? That's what
I
drives
don't
me
know.
nuts.
Yeah, I can talk about that all day, but you know,
Yeah, we won't
we'll
get into it. That's
we'll leave that for another topic.
especially being in Florida. You guys had it bad for a little bit. I think just when it comes to like social media standpoint and false numbers and a whole bunch of other shit. But
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole mess down here. I don't even know what the actual numbers are, but that you know for how the news was portraying it, you'd think that it was a zombie apocalypse down in
oh yeah,
Florida.
dead bodies laying in the streets.
It definitely was not. It definitely was not. And
Yeah,
several hospital worker friends of mine, they were like, "No, the hospitals are not full. No, it's not that bad. No, everybody's not going to die."
yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, is there anything you would like to say before we end up getting off? You can let people know how to reach out to you or about your business. Any motivational that you want to put out there?
Yeah, so I mean, anybody that wants to reach out to me, you guys already saw the website. You guys can reach out at aspirerejuvenation.com. You guys can see me on social media, Tomo underscore Marjanovic on Instagram and on Facebook. One thing that I want to tell to everybody, you know, with all of this COVID stuff, with all of this craziness going on, everybody thinks that it's, you know, the end of prosperity, the end of their goals, the end of this. If you really know how to focus, if you really know how to get yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you'll figure out a way around what's going on. I'll give you my business as the perfect example. We have not shrunk through COVID at all. We've grown through COVID, which is the exact opposite of clinics exactly like mine. So, you know, is there any special way that I did it? I don't think so. Maybe I'll recognize the special ways that I made it grow, you know, in the future. But, you know, all it is putting in the time, putting in the work, working smarter, and not burying yourself in little details that don't matter. You know, go in with a plan every single day. That's where people really fail in anything in life, is they don't have a plan. They don't know what their goals are. They don't know what they're, aspiring for. They don't know where they want to be next year, 5 years, 10 years. That's the issue.
Yeah.
People, I think, need to have a clear set goal. They need to write them down. Do a vision board. Whatever you need to do to make yourself, put notes all over your damn house. Whatever you need to do to remind yourself what your goals are. When you see them every single day, you'll work towards them without even knowing it.
Yeah, well said. That's one thing that I do actually is notes. I get a notepad. I write my notes down. Hey, this is what I'm going to do this year, next year, 10 years from now, whatever. And I mean, I just look in that, if I ever forget, like, hey, why am I doing this? I just look in that and like, oh, well, my goals are these. So that's what I got to push towards.
There you go.
But I agree 100%, especially in this time. Everybody just stay positive. It's hard, especially with like gyms opening and closing. If you're into fitness, if you're not, help the person next to you. It's a trying time for everybody, and this is a time where we just need to remember this is what the United States of America was founded for: is unity. We're all American. We need to look towards our brothers and sisters on the right and left. It doesn't matter what color, what race, whatever. And we need to come together and stay motivated, stay focused on each other's goals, help each other out.
Absolutely. Well said.
Be a good fucking person.
Yeah. That's really what it needs to be. Be a good fucking person.
Yeah. But all right, brother. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on. And it was really good to get to know you and your company and just like what you're based on. And I'll probably end up contacting you and doing something for myself.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much. And we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. All right, brother.
All right, man.